So there's been some developments recently in regards to a number of things that I personally have been dealing with. For the sake of everyone here, I'm going to be minimizing the personal aspect of it because there are things that I just don't feel like I should be disclosing. I'm fine. I'm in a safe environment. It just has to do with stuff that Kip has to talk about on a near daily basis. I will probably cover it in light detail, but nothing super advanced. So the issue at hand, the reason this video exists, burnout. Burnout is something that many people in this sphere deal with, not just VTubing, YouTube, streaming, etc. I, as a workaholic, as somebody that people looked at and go, wow, you have an issue with actually just working, nose to the grindstone, just, oh my God, Kip, right? I can power through a lot. But at the end of the day, you know, I do have to try and look at where I'm going, what I'm doing, and if it's just not worth the effort, if I'm putting in more effort and I just see a continual just downturn, I have to change something up. I think we can all agree on that. Second off here is that due to certain events on YouTube, due to me uploading a certain series of content in regards to firearms, which some of the episodes without edits were completely fine, but the moment I made mass censors, the moment I tried to be prim and proper, YouTube compliant, censored, muted audio portions, that gets age restricted and fully demonetized. As of right now, I will be ceasing all firearm content on the Kip Reacts platform. I can't do it. I can't risk it. It is one of those fields that I do think YouTube is a little uneducated on, to put it lightly. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of their takes. I think that YouTube is just bass backwards in regards to firearms content. I have to cease that right now. I can't risk the YouTube ban hammer. I'm already fighting with companies like Epidemic Sound. I have to deal with a number of other issues in regards to copyright. I have to deal with censoring certain things, and that's all on top of just regular life, doing regular Kip things that I definitely don't get enough sleep over. I do apologize for that, but I do have some good news for you towards the end of this. I also want to take a moment to address something that's really kind of grinds my gears. There has been accusations in regards to certain videos and stuff. It's the internet, right? Everything on the internet's true, right? Wink, wink. Not necessarily. People are going to make accusations. That anonymity behind usernames and stuff does help with that. I have received a few accusations of stolen valor. I have received accusations of being anti-Semitic. I do want to address as far as the stolen valor, anti-Semitic comics. I think that comes out of left field, and if I receive that again, you will be asked to leave. If I receive it again, you will be banned. I don't think there's any way that I can make this any more clear. I am a civilian. I am not military. I have friends that are military. I have friends, family that are military. I am not military. I'm not privy to certain conversations. I'm not privy to certain information. This is just what I accept, right? I cannot have Cav Scout grog because I'm not a Cav Scout, right?
You're goddamn right.
I have no business doing that, and I've said this multiple times. So going forward, this is my last foot down on this. If I get another comment about, oh, you're just, stealing valor, and you'll blah, 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 right? No, you're done. You will be asked to leave and or banned. I do also want to state at that point as well, any of my mod team, I do handpick my mod team, any of my mod team should be treated as if anything that they say came from me. They do, if they have to ban somebody, if they have to action something, if they have to do something, we have a very special chat that we put all that information in. I keep track of everything people say that ends up getting action, banned, etc. Thankfully, we've only had to have low double-digit bans from the Discord server. I've had to hide maybe single-digit people from my comment section, so thank you everybody overwhelming for being just super legit. I do keep record of all that, and I want to say that not to scare you, not to necessarily incite the wrath of God in you, so to speak. Just be careful what you're saying, right? Don't be an idiot, but it's the internet. It's easier said than done. The last big thing in this immediate section that I wanted to cover is in regards to reaching out to people, reaching out for collabs in the VTuber community as a whole. I think the VTuber community is an amazing place. I do think that there's a lot of potential for it. I do think that there's a lot of acceptance. There's a lot of room for people to heal, people to grow, people to network and meet other people. I think that it is a great thing at face value. However, there are certain things about it that I notice are very high school related. You get out of high school, you get into a job, it's just high school all over again, right? Bowling for soup, high school never ends. The VTuber community isn't so different, if that makes sense. That is a problem to me because as somebody who has always struggled to make friends, who has always struggled to make connections, as somebody who has been told time and time again, Kip, you don't do that. Kip, you got to stop doing that. You got to put your nose to the grindstone. You got to just work. You got to do things like that. I'm not necessarily geared for that. I have reached out for collabs. I have had a couple collabs, and one of them ended up going a little catastrophic, so to speak. It made me feel a little uncomfortable. And that being said, the people that I did reach out to for a collab, You know, they shouldn't feel attacked by this. This is me stating that realistically, do not get into the VTuber community thinking you're going to meet a whole bunch of people, that you're going to meet a whole bunch of like-minded people, that everything's going to be sunshine and roses. You're going to have collabs left and right. VTuber community does also have a problem that the rest of YouTube does have and Twitch does have, where people will try to get with a larger creator and get all the clout from that, and then they'll just move on and, oh, well, I don't need you. I got what I needed out of that. I'm not about that, and that's why when I send messages out to content creators in regards to reacting to their stuff or in regards to things, collabs, etc., I say, look, this isn't for clout. You don't feel obligated. You know, I understand what the sphere is like. The VTuber community has a lot of potential for good, and there are a lot of people like Project Melody that I look up to who I think are just absolutely next level, positive, bubbly, personable, just absolutely groundbreaking. However, there is the unfortunate side of it that does get very cliquish, gets very clicky. People only want to collab because it suits them and it betters their needs. I'm not about that life, and thus, as you can see with the conversations I have to have in regards to the topics I cover, in regards to the posts I make in Burnout, you can see why people don't necessarily want to collab with Kip, right? I think this is completely fair. I wanted to segue into this next section. I want to segue into React content as a whole and the problems that it creates. This is not me turning just a complete 180. This is not me saying that, you know, oh, well, I did React content, now I'm not going to do React content, now I'm going to vilify it. No, there's none of that. YouTube has plenty of that already. There's consistent rhetoric about how React content creators are the scum of the earth. React content creators are ruining channels. They're ruining YouTube. It's making the platform worse. In my personal and professional opinion, I believe modern music DMCA copyright and modern policies and potential paradoxical policies, double standards in YouTube policies for demonetization are truly ruining this platform. Hot take from Kip, I think that's what's ruining this platform. So, a lot of people will say that we need a better React content sphere. We need to do React content better. We need to be more cognizant about this. We need to be more respectful about this. Taking that information into consideration in every single React content video that I have done, it may not have been the most transformative. It might not have been the longest. It might not have been the most entertaining, right? In everything that I did do, I try to pause. I try to add what commentary I can. I try to add everything that I physically can to the video to make it unique. Yes, it is still someone's original video. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that. I feel that I have done better than a lot of other React content channels. This is not me calling anyone out. This is not me throwing shade at it. One day I literally looked at Asmongold, Moist Critical doing React content and said, I can do the same exact thing. I can talk about stuff as well. You know, I feel I've done fairly well. I feel I have done well up until the point where we're getting into some really serious and heavy conversations and thus getting into content that is pushed and not pushed in regards to my metrics. But realistically, I think that I've done everything that I physically can do with React content. And that gets into the permission paradox. Is it mandatory to reach out to a creator before any React videos? No. The simple truth about it is, if it is public on the platform, realistically, anyone can turn on OBS, turn on their camera, and react to said content. That's the reality about that. It does come down to a legal thing, and there are creators like Some Ordinary Gamers, there are creators like Legal Eagle, many creators across this platform that discuss these issues and discuss, well, there is a legal aspect of that, where if I were to, say, take a Fat Electrician video and upload it without any sort of addition to it, say I just stared at the screen for the entirety, maybe I added 2 seconds, okay. Realistically, the Fat Electrician has every tool at his disposal, every reason to say, Kip, I need you to take that down, please. You know, I get that you're wanting to react to this, but you didn't really add anything to this. And honestly, I think that's completely justifiable and acceptable. So what I've done is born out of this desire to try and be a better React content creator, to try and do something better, to change the game, so to speak. However, that's not always possible. In reaching out to creators, larger creators, sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get a hold of a large creator. Sometimes you won't get a hold of a large creator. What do you do in that situation, right? If I were to, say, take an Asmongold video or a Josh Strife Hayes video, and I were to try and ask them, hey, I would like to react to this, and they don't respond reasonably as an adult with critical thinking skills, they're either busy, they're either unavailable, they either don't have time for that, they either have addressed this in a past community post, video, etc. There are a number of things why reasonably they would not respond. It's nothing personal. That's not an attack on anybody. That's something that you just have to understand. And there are absolutely large creators that I have messaged, said, hey, in my email, this is what I'm looking at doing, looking to react to your content. You know, you have an open door policy. If you don't want to me to react to this, you are absolutely more than welcome to ask me to take it down. You are able to revoke your consent at any given point in time. So say you were okay with it, suddenly you're not okay with it, right? I'm asking for this. And certain creators have got back to me, other creators haven't got back to me. What do you do in that situation? A lot of the answer is just going to be, well, just do it first, ask for permission and forgiveness later, right? I don't think that necessarily solves the issue though, which is why my solution has been, even if I don't reach out to a content creator and I react to their content, they have an open door policy with me. If anybody that I react to has an issue with my reaction to their content, they have an open door policy to talk to me to say, hey, I need you to take that down. It doesn't have to be some big thing. They don't have to submit paragraphs. They don't have to submit a paper. Hey, my name is Fat Electrician. I don't think you really added a heck of a lot to this. I would appreciate that if you either redid it or if you, just took this one down. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome communication skills there. I do think that it is disingenuous for a lot of large YouTubers to really take issues with React content when there are people like me and other people as well that take things that they say into consideration and execute it. There are people like me who ask for permission where possible. There are people like me that have open door policies with any creator we react to. There are people like me that will double, triple, if not 4x the length of a video. And there are also people like me that will wait for an upload. I think one of the biggest things in regards to React content on this platform is when a video goes live and within the hour or within the day, a reaction is already live. Now, if a creator says that's okay, I have no issue with that. So this is to be taken on a subjective basis. If, for instance, Internet Historian released a new video tomorrow, and in that video, he were to say, oh, you may react to this the initial day. Awesome. There is nothing I can say against that. Good on you. However, going back through Internet Historian videos, he does ask that 48 hours be given to him to respect it. I give 4 days. Understand that from that standpoint, while I am doing the ethical thing, there are people that will react to Internet Historian. There are people that will react to Fat Electrician. There are people who react to other creators hour 1, day 1. 1, how do I compete? 2, you have a lot of these creators that want a more ethical practice, but they don't really talk about the people that are doing it right. You talk with each other, you work together to have a better end product, and you do call things out that need to be called out where relevant. And I think the biggest thing in regards to React content, something that I've noticed, is the lack of decency, if that makes sense. A lot of the videos that I sign off with, I thank the creator. I thank them for putting out an amazing work. I try to be as respectful of the source material as I can. And I do not only wait those 4 days minimum to be respectful, but I wait those 4 days minimum to make sure that it has time in the algorithm and that I'm being as respectful as I can to those people. I think that React content as a whole, there is a large respect issue. I have watched larger creators that have absolutely torn videos apart. I've also seen React content spread misinformation and disinformation. There was a very famous, now redacted Destiny 2 reaction that I did that another large React content creator did also watch, but the issue is that they didn't, 1, play Destiny 2, 2, they took things in it at face value and didn't understand that that video was not necessarily the best video and it was very subjective on a lot of things. I think that that's personally a problem, but you also can't expect everyone to know everything. This is all to say React content is a very hot and contentious sphere. There's a lot of people that will cry, we need to do better, or you need to cancel React content. It's ruining this platform. And I don't think that's necessarily the answer. As with anything, you have to handle it with respect, you have to handle it with care, and you have to work together to create a better end result. You need to set those expectations. I think coming off of React content, it's important to discuss positivity, negativity, and how it's kind of paradoxical and feeds into algorithms, feeds into metrics, etc. I can put out a video looking at, say, a speedrun, and I can be the most happy, bubbly, carefree person in that video. Who's going to care? There is so much negativity on YouTube. And I think I personally have drifted into a situation where I try to be positive, but at the end of the day, I'm reacting to content that's serious. I react to content that's hard to digest for a lot of people. I react to very heavy topics because while I have input on it, your average person doesn't necessarily want to watch a VTuber do that, react to said content, and down to outright just dismissing certain things and feeling ultimately just negative about it. I do think that calling me out in regards to, well, you don't really react to positive content, I think that's a valid call out. I think that is a valid criticism. I do want to state as well, I do have 856 videos at time of this recording, and there's a whole slew of topics there, from the heavy to the serious to the funny to the potentially NSFW, wink wink. And a lot of the videos that get consistent numbers are me providing serious analysis on things. Metrics in themselves and metrics feeding algorithms really work off of engagement. Engagement is something that in YouTube, in Twitch, in anything, you have to be aware of, that it's both positive and negative that feed it. And negativity a lot of the time does feed that a lot better than positivity, which in itself is a commentary, once again, on YouTube, the state of YouTube as a platform. A little bit of heavy topics to get into this, but I promise we're actually almost there. So that leads us into the next thing. Well, Kip, what do you do? So I'm glad that you asked that, dear viewer, because there's a number of things that I do. Obviously, you know the Kip Reacts channel. This is the one that I primarily focus on. It is the channel that realistically I have put the most time and effort into, the time that I spend the most time uploading. Obviously, 856 videos at time of recording, time of streaming. I put a lot into it. However, there is also the Kip TV channel, which I have 168 videos on. Most of these are VODs. I can tell you right now that I personally am out to 82 in Endwalker through 6.0. I can tell you that I've put a lot of time into this as well. That being said, VODs aren't always entertaining, so, you know, getting double-digit views, cool. That's just par for the course. Unless you happen to be doing something specific, like Josh Drive Hayes playing through Morrowind, uploading a 6-hour VOD of Morrowind, I understand why these don't take off. Final Fantasy XIV, a game which I have played a lot of, Resident Evil as well, are games that are very serious in nature, very serious undertones.
What meaning there is to be found in the petty vicissitudes of your existence must be gleaned by you and you alone.
Very heavy games in a lot of aspects.
What do you intend to do restoring Umbrella?
To bring order and balance to this insane world of ours.
A psycho like you can't bring order or balance.
You don't seriously think a conservative mind can chart a new course for the world, do you?
These games aren't exactly sunshine and rainbows.
Your feeble attempts only delay the inevitable. The entire world will be infected. A new Genesis is at hand, and I will be the creator.
Probably not what your average person wants to watch. While I enjoy this, while I enjoy having stories and content be very thought-provoking, not everyone does. So that does answer, well, if you do other things? Absolutely, I do other things. However, that's not necessarily what people want to see, and for all intents and purposes, this is very low-effort content. The next thing I also do is I also have this Kiz and a Kip channel, which is, for all intents and purposes, unused at this point in time. Sure, I have a Virgil status meme that's got like 87,000 views on a whim. There were plans for this. However, React content kind of took over my time. It kind of took over my life, and I haven't really had time to dedicate to analytic content. I haven't had the chance to dedicate to heavily scripted content. I just haven't had the time trying to keep up with the React content channel. The next thing that I do, we do have my Twitch channel, which, you know, I've had for a while. I stream on here when I can. I don't necessarily save the VODs for obvious reasons. However, what I can say is that I do stream on Twitch. I bet you're wondering, why are you showing us this? I do receive a number of comments that ask, Kip, what else do you do? Have you considered branching out from React content? Have you considered doing something else? Absolutely. Going to one of the most popular videos on the Kip Reacts channel, I can tell you that in every single description, not only from a React content standpoint, do I put the original channel, original link, original video title, and original video link in that description. I also put my Discord link. I also put my business email. I also put the Instagram, which I sometimes use. I put my Linktree, put my TikTok, put my Twitch, put both of my Twitters. I do reasonably everything that I can to signal boost everything else that I do. I'm used to environments where you're working in a bank, you're working in a credit union, you get an email saying, hey, CD rates have increased today, or hey, the Federal Reserve has increased their rates today. Cool, everyone's on the same page. You go into that day, well, we are running a promotion on this CD for this %, right? I'm used to that environments. Something that you have to understand about content creation, about YouTube, about Twitch, about social media, and this is a necessary part of it, you will not ever get everyone on the same page. It is quite literally impossible. Kip, what do you mean it's borderline impossible, you ask? Well, there are certain restrictions that come along with that. If I put out a video and I say in that video, the creator of the Colt 1911 was not John Moses Browning, and I put in a community tweet later, hey, my bad, I messed that up, my bad, I get one shot at that. I have one opportunity to make that impression. Regardless if I'm right, regardless if I'm wrong, regardless if I try to go back, you have that one singular moment to make that impression. I have made a number of posts, made a number of announcements in regards to, hey, I do VODs, hey, I do streaming. I have done realistically everything that I physically can. That's not fair of me to expect from somebody that just shows up to the channel 50,000 subs in and doesn't know what's going on. I do not have the ability to be upset at them, and nor should I be upset at them, nor should anybody be upset at them. It is a necessary part of understanding that it is just impossible to get everyone on the same page. This leads into, I do a lot of other content. I cover a lot of heavy content, and that leads into positivity, negativity, and metrics, right? I get it. People want the haha funnies. I am a VTuber. I do certain things. People have certain expectations of me. A lot of VTubers don't exactly, talk about gun safety in the depth that I do, or even touch guns altogether in general. It's just not expected.
Here, you may need these. High velocity, armor piercing. They'll take the hat off an elite at 2,000 yards. And they ain't cheap.
It's dated logic. It's like coming across a YouTube channel and there's this really pretty lady on it and she's doing mechanic work, right? Like she's working on a 77 Ford Bronco, right? A lot of people, me included, awesome, super cool. People at large, though, they're not going to really expect that. People might have an aversion to that content because it's not expected. Public perceived expectation is something you just have to keep into consideration. Capping out this section, this leads into the notion that my content does not have meaning. This is something that I unfortunately really do mirror. They're very few and far between. There's a sentiment out there that, Kip, you just talk over someone's video, your content really doesn't have meaning, or, you're doing this, but really, who cares, right? Why does this matter? And I get that. I mirror a lot of that sentiment. It's why I haven't pushed anything like sponsors. It's why I haven't pushed anything like Ko-fi or Patreon. I don't think that that's necessarily fair if I don't feel like I'm giving people value. I've heard the other opinion on that. I've heard that people like what I do. I've heard that people say I do bring value to the table, and I just respect you for that and thank you for the kind words. I feel like I could be doing a lot more. I feel like I don't really provide that much value, and I personally would feel a little disingenuous if I were to put a sponsorship opportunity in a video, right? If I were to react to a Fat Electrician video and I were to be sponsored by, I don't know, something like Chipotle. Say Fat Electrician doesn't like Chipotle. In this hypothetical instance, do you feel that would be disingenuous to put on a video that isn't technically my content to begin with, regardless of how transformative it is? Do you think that it's necessarily fair to use someone like the Fat Electrician's content and at the end say, hey, if you want to support me on Patreon, go here, rather than what I generally do, hey, if you like the Fat Electrician, consider buying his merch. Go check out his other channel, the Fat Files. You should definitely go and support this dude because he puts out a lot of really cool work. I'm using him as an example here because I really think he's doing really great work. If I didn't think he was doing great work, one, I wouldn't react to his content. Two, at the end of his content, I just say, hey, cool, go check out the original video. I love the work he puts out. I love what he does. I don't think it's fair for me to put sponsorship opportunities or donation tips, etc. in there. I just don't think that's proper. Someone else may have a different opinion on that. Other React content creators may do that. It's something that just goes against my current ethics. Done a lot of talking. There's a lot more than I thought I was going to do. Question of the hour. Should Kip quit? As it stands, I'm not really entertaining. That's not necessarily for lack of trying. That's not necessarily for lack of work ethic. I just cover topics that are either incredibly controversial, are incredibly heavy, are incredibly polarizing. People don't like a lot of what I put out. And that is something else that needs to be normalized. If you don't like content, don't. That is completely fair. That is completely within your justification and ability to do. If I put out a 5-hour video reacting to an analysis on a video game and you don't want to watch it, don't ever feel forced to watch it. If the Russian Badger puts out a video and you think that the pacing of the video is just perfect, you think it's awesome, you think that this is absolutely next level, 10 out of 10 perfect, and you don't want to watch a reaction to that, don't watch a reaction to that. There's a number of videos and articles and advice online that tells you need to get people motivated, you need to get people interested, you need to capture their attention, you need your video hook, right? You need to get your attention. From a business standpoint, I get it. I also don't feel that's really necessarily fair to put on you guys. I don't think that's necessarily fair to have that expectation that all 34,000 people currently that subscribe to me have to watch each and every video I put out. If you don't like to watch a Yu-Gi-Oh video, don't watch a Yu-Gi-Oh video. If Russian Badger's not your thing, but you like Fat Electrician, hey, don't watch the Russian Badger video, watch the Fat Electrician reaction. But I will say, I would absolutely recommend that you check out each and every person I do react to, because I don't react to people I don't think are worth it personally. Facts are facts. I am a male VTuber. For all intents and purposes, I am a niche of a niche. When you think VTuber, when you think some kind of avatar like that, generally it's female presenting, right? Big booba, etc., right? And there are a lot of really pretty models out there. Have you seen Project Melody?
Don't you fuck with me. Or I'll fuck with you.
Have you seen Dragon Spit?
Where's my legs?
Have you seen a lot of these cool, like, waifu VTubers? They're super cool. I can't really compete with that. Being a male VTuber, and I've seen a lot of male VTubers try to make it, and they just can't make it. Or the pressure just becomes too much, and they just can't continue. So I don't recommend becoming a male VTuber lightly. I do think, as it stands, it is a lot easier to be a female or female-presenting VTuber. That being said, I do also agree with the sentiment that another VTuber, Giga, who is part of eShoujo, did have, that we just haven't quite hit what male VTubers can do. We haven't quite hit that similar relevance, if that makes sense.
In 2021 and prior, male VTubers before Luxium came out, I agree with you, were considered a joke, and it always pissed me off that a lot of people that I was friends with were really good creators and I thought deserved it, and I was saying, hey, they just haven't found their audience yet. Once they do find that audience, or that audience finds them and a community builds, they're all gonna do well because they're incredible. And then they did. But before that, female VTubers and viewers of female VTubers would make fun of them and be like, oh, they can't even break 20 viewers because they're bad. And I was like, no, it's because their demographic has not hit.
And my issues with the VTuber community aside, I do, as I said, I think it's a great community. I think there's a lot of potential. I do think that it's very high school and cliquish. I think there's has its own problems to deal with. I don't really feel part of the community. I use a model strictly for security purposes, honestly. There are people that I've met in my life that I don't ever want to see again. I will spare you the details on that, as I don't think that's necessarily fair to put on you. I do it as a security thing. I don't want to go out to, say, Sportsman's Warehouse. We have several in Idaho, right? I don't want to go out to Sportsman's Warehouse, get to the gun counter, and suddenly the dude goes, oh my god, you're Kip, right? Or go to an outdoor range, hear my voice, and go, dude, you're that dingus on the internet, right? I'm not at that level of comfortability. I don't really like my IRL appearance. I just don't feel photogenic. Like, that's not really a jab at myself. I just don't like being on camera. I do it for security purposes. I do it to, I guess you could say, to further an agenda. VTubing being a very self-expressive environment, being something that, you know, anyone can really pick up and just kind of run with. I am a niche of a niche, though. I have to understand this. Other people have to understand this. Now, I think that personally I have given it my all. I think that I have tried everything that I physically can reasonably. I have tried being the difference in React content, tried to be as respectful as I can. I have tried where reasonable to reach out to creators and react to their content. Streaming, I feel I have done everything I reasonably can, short of working 40 hours a week on a single video project every single week. There's something to also be said about luck factor. I don't necessarily agree with it. I can see benefits being for it and against it. All of this into consideration. I think that leaving this on red and just walking away is the wrong answer. I guarantee you I could go back into a customer service job. I could go back into any job that I've held, whether that be some form of asset protection, whether that be some form of customer service, some form of finance, which I'm clearly qualified for, scoring incredibly well on a managerial test for a financial institution, blind on the first try. I'm qualified to do a lot of things. I don't think that's the correct answer, though, to walk away. The thing that keeps me going is I want to change the world in some meaningful way. I want to change the world in a positive way. I want to let people know that they're not alone, that there are still people that can critically think. Y'all have seen me cook. I'm not smart when it comes to cooking, but if we're going to have a discussion, I can absolutely conversation. Bordering on the IRL conversations, the amount of times I've had to have conversations about Ukraine, conversations about Israel, conversations about equality when it comes to financing and housing. I've had to have conversations in regards to credit and HELOCs on a consistent basis. basis. I had to meet up with a friend recently because there was really no one else that they could reach out to, and had to assess a living situation that they got into, which the new roommates were exhibiting. Oh, we'll treat you like family. We'll just adopt you into this, and getting something different out of what they expected going in. I have to have a lot of these conversations. And I think that going forward, in ceasing my firearms content, in trying to roll back some of the controversial and polarizing content that I have been doing, I think that I can make React content a place that I don't dread. We can talk about a thing all day. Words have power, actions have weight. That is something that I live by. You can talk about a thing all day. Oh, I'm sorry that you got scanned by this crypto project. I'm sorry that this video upset so many people. I'm sorry that you about it. I think in this case, I've exhibited not only that I have self-cognizance, critical thinking skills, but this is my plan moving forward. Yes, because I'm ceasing gun content. Yes, because I'm seizing certain serious content. Fat Electrician's a little different. That's history. I'm fine with that. That one I can fight YouTube on a little bit. I have the ability to identify the follow-through and pursue that follow-through. Leading into the big announcement today, and this is going to be rolling out over the next week, couple weeks, that kind of thing. Firearm content will be moving over to Tactic Kip. I don't have the channel made yet. I don't have things quite ready. I still have my camera that I got about 2 weeks ago that I still got to do things with. Got to test that out at SCA, see how 1080p works with sword swings and stuff. That is going to put a little bit of strain on me. I'm going to have to pace that very, very carefully. I think going forward, having firearm content dedicated to its own channel will, one, compartmentalize it, because YouTube likes having that sort of compartmentalization, right? Stuff like this is a Pokemon channel. This is a finance channel. This is a cooking channel. Rubik's Raptor has an Arma 3 channel, right? YouTube and compartmentalization go hand in hand. Having a dedicated place to talk about firearms, discuss firearms, be done with it, I think is going to be a huge weight off my shoulders, working my way up to monetization on that channel. The other situation as well is there are a lot of people that follow me that like my Pokemon content, things that I do. Pokemon does not necessarily mesh with Project Melody reactions. Pokemon does not necessarily mesh with firearm content reactions. As somebody that was a former professor, I do say former because I haven't renewed any of my credentials. There's also not places in the area that I can do. I am also not affiliated nor sponsored or anything by Pokemon. I was clearly qualified enough to apply for both VGC and TCG professorship. That will be getting its own channel as well. I'm thinking of using Dragon Fang, the held item. Nothing super spectacular, nothing super off the walls. Something that allows me to, hey, we're going to talk about Whimsicott today. Today we're going to talk about doubles. We're going to talk about EVs today. We're going to talk about IVs. I think that's going to be a necessary division. It is going to be a lot of work. I'm already aware of that. This does go in tandem with me going down to one React video a day. I think that React content, while it has a lot of potential, it's not everything I want to be doing. I think that there's going to be other things that I want to do. I feel that there are other talents that I have that I can better compartmentalize for people, for reactions to Pokemon content. Why are you going to care about a Grand Thumb reaction? If you follow for Brandon Herrera reactions, why are you going to follow for a Pokemon reaction? You see where I'm coming with this? I need to focus my efforts in certain places. This is not me leaving the React content channel, because realistically, the React content channel is how I make money. This and Twitch. I need to work on other projects and get those started in order to build up from that. So, on the React channel, I'll still have uploads planned. They might just be some shorter uploads. They might be some uploads that, hey, people want to watch this. We're going to have a positive time today. I have so much in my backlog, it's not even funny. So I figure, what better way than off the tails of these announcements, right, than to go through really every Pokemon game that I have. Over to my drawer here, we got Pokemon Red, Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire. I think I have Black 2. That one's going to be a little bit strange to stream. 1, it gets through my backlog. 2, gives me B-roll footage. 3, I can make it an event, and if anyone wants to come out to do Pokemon or do funny redeems and stuff like that, that'll be the place to do it. I'm not done. I'm not quitting. I think that that's the wrong answer. I think that being able to learn to let go, being able to compartmentalize certain things, and being able to really walk away from a keyboard if I need to, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of things going forward. And I've taken both the negative and positive and neutral comments into consideration. So thank you everyone for coming out to this. I know this is really going to be a longer video. I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit for upload purposes, and I don't really expect you to watch it or watch the whole thing, especially if you came out to stream. You know, don't do that to yourself. Your time is precious. Your time is your own. Spend your time the way you need to spend it and the way you want to spend it. That's my advice for you today. I am also in the middle of open up a Ko-fi and a Patreon. We'll channels as they get it. Don't ever feel obligated to spend money, to sub, to donate, to tip. I get what it's like to live poor. I get what it's like to say, I got $5 in my bank account. Do I need gas or ramen for dinner? I get it. Don't have. In terms of potential other options, if people really want that Kip only fans, oh boy, could I, do that. I could do that. If people are wanting a certain kind of content, or even then, I've been debating on branching out to a certain hub site just because I think it'd be really funny to put reactions up on there or put just regular videos up on there. I think that'd be neat, honestly. The main Kip channel, that'll be for analysis, talking about certain things that aren't React worthy, if that makes sense. Or I really need to take a step back from React content because realistically, a single stream a week, I can have all 7 of my uploads done, and I need to start getting other things done. That's all I got for you today in regards to announcements and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. Got some new range glasses, some pretty spandy range glasses, actually. Look at the Fat Electrician video for that one. It's just a matter of picking and choosing my way through this, and I really do appreciate everyone coming out and showing their support, as well as showing their concern. It's really hard, especially when finances are concerned with YouTube and stuff, but I really do appreciate it, and I need to be a little more gentle with myself going forward. So thank you. Thank you for watching this all the way through. You're an absolute certified G, certified legend, and I'll see you in the next one.